Spurge here, and in this video we are going to discuss the new AGV K6 S Helmet. So this is replacing the beloved AGV K6, extremely popular helmet. Really, the too long didn't read is that this is an update focusing on the new ECE safety standard. So this is going to get the 2206 safety standard from ECE. We're also going to see some other light updates here, mainly with the way they've added the spoiler to the back from a styling perspective. That will add a little bit of weight. Keep in mind the outgoing K6 was pretty much the lightest full-face premium helmet on the market. This one is going to retain, that title pretty much, but we are gaining about 3 ounces when we put this on a scale in a medium. The other thing to note here is that the actual sizing convention that AGV has been known for with the medium small, medium large, large, which has always been a bit confusing, has changed at this point. So the too long didn't read, if you want to know nothing else, is that it retains everything that we loved about the original K6. It's just now getting updated to the new ECE safety standard, and the style has changed with the spoiler on the back. So let's get into this actual helmet and what you're going to see here. If you're not familiar with the old K6, I have one right here. Just putting it on the table next to it, you're going to see mainly the style change that we're talking about with the new spoiler. The vents, the passive vents on the back are still there. They're just now routed through the bottom of the spoiler there. But as you can see, really not too much has changed. AGV really hit it out of the park with the K6, and they wanted to make sure that they didn't change it to the point where it wasn't going to be popular for all the fans of the K6 that exist. So getting into this, what made the K6 so popular? Carbon aramid shell, 4 different shell sizes, so you really get to fine-tune how this helmet fits you. The shell size breakdown is extra small and small get 1 shell size, medium gets a shell size, large gets a shell size, and then extra large and 2XL get their own shell size. AGV used to have that medium small, medium convention. Medium small is now a medium, medium large is now a large, and then so on and so forth. If you are confused, the size chart works out really well here. All I would say is if you find yourself between 2 sizes, probably going to want to size up a size, especially considering that the neck roll for this is a bit hard to get in and out of. And then the chin bar we find does sit a little bit close to the chin with this helmet. Now, DOT, it is 2206 ECE safety rated as well. That's really the change here, is that they needed to get that new safety rating in for the ECE system. And then 2 pounds 15 ounces in a medium. The previous medium small was 2 pounds 12 ounces. So like I said, about 3 ounces heavier with the new one, but sub 3 pounds in a medium. So still pretty much one of the lightest premium full-face helmets on the market that you can get. From an internal fit standpoint, nothing has changed. It's still that intermediate oval fit. Historically, over the past 10 years, AGV has kind of changed their fitment from more of a round fit to something that works for more of the American market. If you're not sure what we're talking about from an internal fit standpoint, you can check out our video on how to size and buy a motorcycle helmet, but essentially a little bit longer front to back, a little bit narrower on the side of the head, and it should work for the majority of the American market. Like I said, the only real notes here on fitment is just keep in mind that you really do have to work your head in through the more secure chin curtain or neck roll at the bottom. And then when you're looking at where the chin bar sits, I do find that it sits right up against your face. So depending on the actual shape of your jawline, this helmet might not work for you. So it's always important to try the helmet on in the comfort of your own home before going out and riding in it. So let's walk through what we're going to see, starting with the face shield in this. Really love the detents in this, and this is a carryover from the K6. Really aggressive detents, so if you are using this in kind of a middle position, even on the highway, 60, 65 miles an hour, it tends to hold the position really well. The only nitpick here is that the way the face shield is designed, you get this kind of like lip at the bottom. So depending on where you're having the face shield sit from a detents perspective, that definitely starts to distort. So you kind of want to leave this either the closed or just the very lowest position. If you go any higher than that, that does cut into your optical line of vision. You do have a Pinlock insert included in the box. For those of you that aren't aware, Pinlock is an anti-fogging insert. So if you're in cooler weather or if you're riding in rain where your face shield tends to fog up, that Pinlock insert definitely helps to cut down on that. And like I said, it's Pinlock ready, and there's a Pinlock insert included in the box on this one. The other note here is riding this with sunglasses, no issues. We've been getting a lot of comments and questions on how helmets fit for glasses. The one note I'll say there is that it's very subjective. I've worn sunglasses on pretty much every helmet I've owned and not really had a problem with it. I've talked to other people that have complained about how it fits or how it feels with glasses. So that is a bit subjective, but we've been wearing the new version with sunglasses and haven't had any issues with getting sunglasses in and out with this particular helmet. And sunglasses tend to be a bit thicker framed than the average eyeglasses. So for those of you that are out there that are wearing, peeper enhancers, you really shouldn't have any issues there. The one nitpick that we had with the original, and it does carry through with this one, is that the ventilation at the front, at the chin, really just vents to the face shield. So you're not going to get really a tremendous amount of air pushing in towards your face in the warmer months out of the year. Now the vent scheme up top hasn't changed, so you're going to get 3 vents at the front. They are active vents. They can be opened or closed. Easy to use, even if you're wearing motorcycle gloves, very intuitive, so no surprises or changes there. And then, like I said, 2 passive vents at the back. One final note on face shield. Very easy to change. This was a new facial design that we saw AGV introduce a few years ago, and I think it's probably one of the most innovative face shields that we have on the market, just because it cuts down on size, and this is where AGV originally got a lot of that weight savings when we talked about the original K6, but you simply pull down and it pops right off, you line it up, you pull down and it pops right back on. So very easy face shield mechanism if you are someone that's going to be using a dark shield and then changing back and forth between dark, smoke, and clear if you're using this maybe for a track day or something like that. So, taking a look at the inside here. So we talked about this earlier. Just note that with the neck roll on this, you really do have to kind of work your head in and out. Double D-ring closure, no changes, no surprises there. Opening this out, the one thing to note here is that the neck roll for this is kind of connected to the cheek pads. So as you're pulling this out, if you want to clean it, it's all one piece, very comfort-oriented design of this. I really like the mechanism because it's easy to get in, easy to get out, no surprises, and it is extremely comfortable. Contours to the whole lower jawline to really help hold the helmet secure and in place as it's on your head. As we pull out the top liner, the only note here is that you are getting snaps in the front, which is something we typically don't see at a helmet of this caliber. Sometimes the issue here is that those snaps can cause some pressure points on the forehead. Don't really notice it with this helmet. Haven't had anybody complaining about it. In our testing, we didn't feel that, but maybe for a future iteration, working in some kind of a brow insert or a brow mount versus a snap mount. Only note is that it is very easy to get in and out without having to worry about fine-tuning all the points for a brow mount. As we take a look at the inside, you are getting cutouts for speaker pockets. And I will note sometimes when we see this in helmets, especially with the design of the newer comm systems, the speaker cutouts aren't deep enough. These are going to be deep. This should be able to accommodate speakers without any issues with fit or feel. And then the final note here, as you can see, the channel cutouts in the EPS liner really do help to promote that airflow from the front of the helmet onto the back. So if you were a fan of the previous K6, really the too long didn't read is that this is something that is giving you updated safety standards. I don't think the changes here would warrant jumping up to a new helmet right away, but as your old one begins to wear out or you hit that 5-year mark and you really like it, you can jump to the new K6 S and you're not going to lose anything from the previous version. For those of you that have been looking at a K6, but maybe you've held off, everything from the previous version carries over. It's just now updated safety standard, added spoiler to the back. I know that AGV was talking about like a 4% reduction in lift. I don't think the average rider on the street is going to notice that too much, but the styling just kind of adds a little bit of flair to the back without detracting from anything that we liked about the previous one. And it's now coming in around that $550 price point. So there was, a slight price increase from around the $500 mark to the $550 mark. But given, the world of inflation that we're living in and everything we're seeing here, I think this is still going to be, a favorite pick amongst full face helmets. We were really excited when AGV introduced this. And from a lightweight standpoint, from a safety standpoint, I still think this is going to be one of the perennial best sellers and favorite helmets on the market. If you are interested in learning more about this helmet or you want to read what other riders have to say, you can click the info button on your desktop or mobile device. You can read other rider reviews from folks that are out there putting a K6 S through its paces. And if you're still not sure as to which helmet is right for you and your riding style, you can always reach out to one of our customer service reps. They can walk you through all the different helmets available to make sure you find the right helmet for your riding style as well as for your budget. I want to thank you for joining us for this look at the AGV K6 S. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.